Well, first of all, I thought this was an appropriate shirt today, half white, half orange, so tried to be neutral. I think I did a better job calling sacks, but it's kind of hard to, just can't really win. It's tough. So it's like being a referee out there. It's got a little more respect for those guys. But anyway, fun day. I really thought it'd be competitive, and it was. A few missed opportunities offensively, some big competitive plays defensively. With a great finish by Bubba McAtee, at the end there. So just a fun game, and had some good situational stuff, come up as well. But again, it's been a competitive spring. We've been a very incomplete team this spring, obviously with a lot of these guys that have been out. But the guys that were able to go through spring, I'm really pleased and proud of just the work. We're a work in progress, but we improved, and that was the main thing. Put it, especially offensively, to get a foundation in, to improve and get better, and we were able to do that. And we had a lot of young guys, and some guys that maybe are going to have bigger roles this year, get some really meaningful work this spring as well. So again, unbelievable crowd. It was just so cool to have 50,000+ or whatever it was here to see us. I really appreciate our fans. I mean, I know it's not like that everywhere, and so I appreciate our fans coming out, and it's big to give us that type of feeling for these guys to have to go out there and play and compete in. So again, a lot of fun, and looking forward now to, just got a lot of meetings with our players coming up these next couple weeks, and kind of equipping them with what they need to know to, as we call, transform this summer as we enter in the second phase of this 2023 journey. So, a lot of work to do this summer, but I think, again, next time we're back on the field come August, and we'll be a lot more complete football team, and a lot of guys that I think will be hopefully the best version of themselves that we've seen since they've been here. That whether that's a Tyler Davis going into his last year, or that's a Peter Woods who got here in January, or a Vic Burley, or a Noble Johnson, whoever it is, if they'll just be the best version of themselves that we've seen since they got here, they get better, we get better, and I think we'll have a chance to be a really, really good team.
Will Shipley just precautionary?
Yeah, he's just had some knee tenderness. He's practiced most, he scrimmaged some too, and then just the last week or so he's battled a bunch of tendonitis in that knee area. So he's done all the team stuff except in the last week or so, but we didn't scrimmage him last week or today. Just kept him out of the live stuff, from just precaution.
Sorry, we've heard about those mid-year enrollees.
Yep.
Today, Peter Woods is throwing people around. Khalil Barnes almost killed somebody. Had a pick six. Is this what you guys have seen also in the spring of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, it's a really good class. Although, again, TJ Parker, Burley, you saw Stephiylan, and Peter, those guys, all four have been really good additions. And they've also really benefited. I mean, there's no Rook, there's no Peyton Page. Kate Part had to miss some. Trey Williams is out. And, every one of those guys I just mentioned is going to play on Sunday one day. Every one of them. And so they've been out. And so it's really allowed those guys to kind of speed their process up. That's been a real plus for them, and they took full advantage of it. And that's what you want to see guys do. Jamal and D. Jamal made a play today, and D's had a great spring. And then there's young DBs. Shelton Lewis has just shown up and been consistent all spring long. Khalil, same thing. What you saw today is kind of who he's been all spring. And then not just those guys, but the guys that were here last year. A guy like Kylan Griffin, who we were able to redshirt. TJ Dudley. I mean, we've just got a Colin Sadler, a guy that was able to redshirt. Those guys are making a jump. But those mid-years have been exceptional. Noble, it's been moving really fast for him, but he's gotten better and better and better. And this was huge for him to get out here in this environment and just realize, okay, it's still just football, and just a couple mistakes, but he made some strides. And Harris Sewell, what he's been all spring camp has been awesome. I mean, we just keep going. I mean, all of those guys, I'm not disappointed with anybody. Josh Sapp, a guy we were able to redshirt, who's really going to help our team. So it's really across the board. I think last year's class that we signed, the Klubnik class, and this class that just came in here, this is top to bottom. I think two real complete groups. So I'm excited about what we got a chance to do with them.
What's kind of on the summer to-do list for Tristan Leigh?
Just continue the track he's on. I mean, Paul Hogan really kind of handles him and has his hands all over and does a great job with him. But just continue. Don't change anything. I mean, he's a grinder. He's got a plan every day, every week, every month. And so just continue to make that progression and build on what he did. I mean, he'll come into August with sky-high confidence because of what he did this spring. And with Tate and Parks out all spring, it really just allowed him to settle in, and you know, his effort's amazing. And anytime you are a great effort guy, you usually at some point become consistent and confident, and that's what I've seen with Tristan. He's just put great effort in, and his consistency and his confidence is the best it's been since he's been here. So continue to get stronger, continue to on that body composition that he's been working on, continue with his flexibility, continue with his footwork and fundamentals and technique. So all the things that he does every day, just keep going, and if he does, he's going to keep getting better.
Coach, we see a lot of programs do ones versus twos in the spring game, kind of trying to, build a program up. You had the best versus the best today. Talk to us about your decision-making process with that.
Yeah, and we usually have a version of that. Usually what we do is if this team gets the left tackle, this team gets the right tackle, this team gets the left guard. And so it's usually pretty much good on good always, even though we split it. But this year, we were just missing some key guys in that defensive line and in the offensive line. And so, with a new quarterback, new coordinator, we just wanted to kind of get what we thought were the best 11 on offense and the best 11 on defense of what's available, and then we just kind of broke everybody else up as even as we possibly could. So we tried to put our best 11 on offense and our best 11 on defense, and so it was pretty much ones on ones all day. But like I said, typically we still kind of have that, but we just tried to keep we only had 4 scholarship receivers, so we tried to keep Speck, Cole, and Antonio to just create a little bit of continuity with Cade, and then also, the best that we have in that offensive line. We had a couple guys that we might have kept over, like Trent Howard might have stayed over, but Putnam was in his brother's wedding today, and so he wasn't here, so both of those guys had to snap. So, but it was a good day, a really good day, and if Shipley had been able to go on, we'd have had, he and Shipley, and then we'd have had probably Keith on the other team. So good work by both groups.
Coach, I asked you at last year's spring game that the incoming freshman class kind of were trial by fire and to fill in some spots. This year, the freshman class looks like they're on fire just with their performance. How do you describe kind of last year's spring game with the incoming freshman class, early enrollees, and incoming freshmen to this year's as far as talent-wise and just performance on the spring games? Yeah,
well, I think I'd have to go back and look, but this is a lot of mid-years. I think it's the most we've had in a while, 15 of them. So a lot of guys, plus Strecco's in here, and then I don't know if Paul Tyson counts in that. I think maybe 17 guys actually, and obviously Paul couldn't go, still dealing with the thumb. But you get that amount of guys that are in here, it's just invaluable for them to be able to get the type of work that they got this spring. So I think that bodes well for us, and we had a bunch of those guys that still yet to be here. I think we got maybe 12 guys coming in the summer, 10 or 12 guys, and there's a lot of dudes that still aren't here, like Ojebwe and Hoffler, and got those 2 big tight ends. We got 3 receivers, and Tink and Tyler Brown and Ronan coming in here to add on with Bo and Adam and Stellato and Will, who were out all spring. So we got a lot of guys that'll still be showing up that we're excited about. Still got Robert Billings coming in at safety, Strozier, Avion Terrell at corner. There's a good group of guys that will have a chance. And if you look back at last year, you saw a guy like Woodaz. He got here in June. A lot of these guys. So they still got plenty of time to be ready to help our team. But these guys that were here this spring certainly, I think, took full advantage of the opportunity to get better.
Again, a very incomplete team on offense. How do you evaluate Cade? How he played today? Obviously, some big plays, but a couple of things there.
Yeah, well, he made some great off-schedule plays and extends play. That's what you that's what I love to see. All the rest of it will come together the way it needs to. But a couple tough breaks. That was a great play by Nate. The ball's right on the money, and it's we kind of played a little short instead of played. At worst, it needs to be incomplete, but we were kind of tight to the body, and Nate reached around. Tips are supposed to be picks, you know, and then what a great, I think Jamal maybe got his hand on the one ball. It was a bang play down there, and you know Mickens came up one when Kuba came up one. So, but he did a heck of a job. But what you love about him is, man, he can extend. I mean, he can really turn, you know, 2.8 seconds into 8-9 seconds, and it's just hard, you know, when you have a guy that can do that when he's really live. But you know, he's had a great spring for sure, a really good spring, and I'm pleased with what we've been able to get in. And so yeah, as being incomplete, yes, we know that, but we've still been able to get everything installed. We've still been able to lay a good foundation, and you know, it's gonna come together nicely. I really believe that.
Looked like Quadzilla had a fun game for you.
What's that?
Looked like Quadzilla had a fun game today.
Man, he did. You know, and I'm glad y'all got a chance to see him. You know, he's a big, thick kid, but man, he's loose in the hips, and he's got great vision, and he's downhill. You know, he's a patient runner. He really understands how to run the ball, and I mean, he can help us. You know, obviously we got two stallions in Big Phil and Ship, but hey man, how about Phil today? Man, what a Makuba. You know, that's a lesson from Makuba. You know, you can't knock those big guys down. You gotta wrap them up. No shame in holding on for the cavalry to get there. But I mean, we've got some really good weapons there, and Domonique has shown that he can be a very dependable guy for us. And then Keith Adams did some good stuff. So it's good to see those guys, and obviously we'll get Jay Haynes and we'll get Jarvis in here this summer as well, and continue to build that depth.
The players were talking about the freshmen that have come in. They said they've just kind of changed the culture actually, and really brought some energy.
Yep.
What do you make of them, and what can they provide as you guys kind of take a shift here with the new offense and just taking that next step as your guys' program continues to develop?
Well, I mean, that's just college football. I mean, you have turnover every year, and that's why, you know, it's so important that you recruit well, and not just, you know, you're not just getting talented players, but you're getting the right players and guys that fit your culture, guys that you know, are going to be guys that love football. I mean, I think that's the one thing. These guys love football. The one thing about this class that we just signed, it's probably the closest signing class that maybe we've brought in. And when I say close, I'm talking about these guys were truly like, I mean, you know, a group chat, all that stuff, all year. I mean, just unbelievably close group, and I've seen that just carry into, you know, everything they've done this spring. They're about their business. These guys came here to win a national championship. I mean, that's just, and I love that about them. They have high goals. They believe in themselves. They're really talented. They all have good self-awareness and know that they have a lot of work to do. They're eager to be coached. They're incredibly coachable, and that they really do listen. I mean, they've responded in all the areas of the program. So. When you have a group that's talented like that's really just full of energy and bought in, because there's strength in numbers, a lot of them. I mean, it's not like 3 guys showed up here, it's 15 guys. And these are high-level dudes, but they're high-level people. And, man, you can't help but you know, grab some enthusiasm from that, and it's very contagious. So it's been fun.
It says a lot about your older guys too, though, that they can see that.
Oh yeah.
And embrace it rather than be like, listen, pipsqueak, like, you know,
no.
Because that kind of stuff can happen too in a locker room, and so it says something about the guys you also have in the locker room too.
Absolutely, and that's just the culture that we have here. I mean, you got guys like Tyler Davis. I mean, you got 7 of those guys who came back for 5th and 6th years that, you know, for extra eligibility, and you know, game knows game, and bull crappers know bull crappers as well. And you know, so these guys. This is a mature group. We've got it's a good mixture of some really savvy, experienced dudes, and some really just, you know, eager, enthusiastic, young, talented guys that just can't wait to go compete. And the one thing about those young guys is they haven't come in here with an arrogance. They haven't come in here with a you know, this mentality that hey, they're supposed to play or whatever. They've just jumped in line, but they don't take a back seat to anybody. And that's what I like about them. And they're just, this group, there's a lot of natural leaders in this group. And these older guys that have been in this program, they know who we are, and they respect that. So it's really good. It's not just that group. I mean, that sophomore group, there's, you know, like a guy like Cade. I mean, those guys, they see that. And then that junior group, you know, Shipley, Maffa, Trotter, Carter, that's a pretty good group, you know, all through there as well. Rennie, and it's a talented group, but a bunch of guys that I think, we got some good leaders in there.
Did you like how your second team offensive line sort of sometimes move those guys off the ball a little bit?
Yeah, it was fun. They're out there competing. And again, I think we only had 4 D tackles in the game today. So Peter Woods had to play about every snap, every team. But, they did a really good job, and it was fun to see Domonique in particular, kind of find some of those gaps and punish some of those tacklers. But, I thought for the most part, I'm anxious to watch the tape because, again, especially with the young guys, and see how, guys like Big Zach, Big Ian, he had to miss the last scrimmage. So to get him back, Mitchell Mays had to miss a little time. This was his first scrimmage, and since we got back from break as well. So, good to see a lot of those guys getting some good work.
With spring done now, what kind of unanswered questions or concerns do you have that you want to get resolved, in the fall or over the
We
summer?
just got to get healthy. We got to get everybody back. That's the biggest thing. Just get complete. And we're not far from there. I mean, again, everybody that's been out has been just lingering stuff and postseason stuff that, like, Root could probably play today. And I asked him that today. I said, how you feel? He said, I could play today. And, I mean, that's great. So if we were starting spring ball next week, he probably would have had a different deal. But the timing of things and where we are, like J. Lou, we knew we had to do surgery on him, but he got 7 practices in, and then we did the surgery because we wanted to get half of it in. Sheridan, JP, Venables, Trey, Rook, XT. We got a lot of guys. Adam, Bo, Stellato. So they're all doing really, really well. So that's the main thing. Just complete our team so that we can go put it all together on the field.
It's just to clarify with Venables, what's the reason he's been out the last couple of weeks?
It's just hammy. He's just been battling that hamstring.
And Myles Oliver, is that something
That was probably, I don't know, first week of spring. He was a spring injury, but he'll be back at some point. But he was a early spring. I think he might be him, and we had a walk-on kid that got hurt. Might be our only major spring injuries.
I guess Peter Woods, we talked a lot about him. If he's a plug-and-play guy, how close is Stephiylan Green to being somebody who could be in that mix?
Not far. He's not ready to play multiple positions yet, like Peter. I think Peter can play anywhere. Literally, I think he can play end. I think he can play 5 technique. I think he can play 3. I think he can play nose. I think he can play anywhere, and I think mentally he's ready for that. Stephiylan is explosive. He loves football. He's tough as they come, but he's still grabbing on to the totality of the defense. It's probably the biggest difference right now. Is just I think Peter's a little bit more, could go play. And Steph body type wise could do some of those things, but I think we just got to continue to bring him on a little bit from a scheme standpoint.